it was running a commercial in the back, maybe? I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, commercial, man. I heard it. It sounded like a chick. I heard the music. It's your fault for having it set up that people can hear what you're doing.
It was some kind of hair product, I think.
It was definitely porn. Fault for having it set up that people can hear what you're doing. I just heard my own voice come back. See,
it wasn't me.
Fault for having it set up.
It was a hair
what you're doing.
product.
I just heard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was porn. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. Yay! That's right, we're back. Welcome, everybody. Now that Culture's got some splaining to do to the boss. Not watching porn, I swear.
I wasn't. Yeah. I wasn't. Mm-hmm. You just trying to get me in trouble, which I don't understand why.
That, of course, is Culture Casino, my hetero life mate. Yeah. The man who does karate with infinite patience. How you doing?
I'm actually doing quite well. I mean, just I feel like I'm human again. I get to be on MEAD. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's been a while, like a week or two.
It hasn't been 2 weeks. It might have been almost a week. So, but I'm glad to be here, and I hope everybody else is as well.
Also returning is that 70s rock fan. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir, and I'm also glad that Culture's here.
Oh, okay.
Your hat say Dickies?
George Dickel.
Oh, Dickel.
Tennessee whiskey, George Dickel.
Gotcha.
Very nice stuff.
All right. Interesting name. And we also, speaking of interesting names, have Script Doctor with us. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Pretty tired. Something about Dickel,
Dick Trickle?
Sure.
As a race car driver.
He was. Until he hung himself.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I know,
did he actually do that, or did
I don't know, as far as I know. I mean, but of course, funnily enough, I think that's where they got the name for Days of Thunder for Trickle.
They did.
If I remember correctly. Cool. But he was a big deal from where I'm from. Yeah.
You think we'll get a Days of Thunder follow-up?
No.
I would think that would be a better idea than trying to rush into Top Gun 3. Robert Duvall's still alive.
So is Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
They're going to have to hurry because Robert Duvall's 90 plus.
He's living to be 108.
He could be.
Guaranteed. He's too stubborn to die.
I think he's got a bet with, oh, crap.
The devil?
No, his name escaped me. He was in Marathon Man
Eastwood.
And
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman, yeah, thank you, sir. He's got a bet with Dustin Hoffman to see who outlives longer.
Oh, Dustin Hoffman's more stubborn.
Yeah.
So I have my money's on Dustin.
I think it's Gene Hackman's going to outlive them all.
Oh, well, yeah. If you want to give me a choice between those three, yeah.
Dude,
that guy says.
And we'll miss them all.
And we will. Yeah. You want to see me cry? I'll cry like a little baby the day Gene goes. Yeah. No, that's an actor's mensch.
Oh, he is, dude. That guy, I'm telling you, one of the best. One of the best ever.
Yeah. Well, he did say he was open to making another movie as long as it was filmed in his house and only he and his wife were in it.
So he wants to make a porn.
He wants to make a porn?
Well, I don't think he was implying that.
Got music for that.
Oh my gosh. It's not what happened. You guys are going to get me in trouble.
I'll work again, but I'm not leaving the house.
What is that?
I'm not leaving my chair.
What is that gilf porn like, Culture? Like gilf porn?
I wouldn't know. I don't even know what that is.
And I watch Judge Judy every day at 2. So you're going to have to work around that.
It's a woman who would command you.
Probably.
I think so, yeah.
If you can do all that, then you get to Hackman. Can't, then you're fucked. That's not what? Tom, stop talking about porn. This is not why we got all your rabbit chickens. What? Mikey got those. I didn't. He signed on for that shit. Next thing you know, we got hundreds of them. Like, thanks, Mike.
We do. It does fuel the generators we use to power the show. give away the
Well, we've
secret
had to
of what we're
find some
doing.
kind of use for them. They're useless otherwise. I mean, they've got no face.
Yeah, but at least they don't poop.
Well, they're
Which
like
is weird.
tribbles, except they're not cuddly.
Well, you can cuddle them, but they fly around and they take you to another dimension.
Wow. All of a sudden, the Beastie Boys song popped in my head.
It is kind of sound like a Beastie Boys song. Primer says, "Hail, have you all seen the teaser for Oppenheimer?" No, I haven't. Have you guys?
Walking.
Yeah, no.
Nope. I'm
Christopher
waiting to see
Walken?
that. I don't want to see any teasers for it yet. I want to wait for the movie to be ready to go and see how much Christopher Nolan gets wrong.
Yeah. I have not seen it yet. I didn't know it was out.
Yeah, Walken.
Christopher Walken.
Looking.
You know,
think he's-
Yeah.
Brahma Bull does a pretty good Walken voice.
He does.
He does. Much better than me. That's not one of my better voices. I can't do Walken real well. But we've got a little bit of news today.
Ooh, nudes?
Nudes. Yeah, I knew you were watching porn.
I
He's
was
watching
not.
porn.
was not.
Mhm.
You're making stuff up.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey.
So yeah, I'll have to check out the trailer eventually, but I'm kind of with script at this point when it comes to Nolan. I'm just not so sure.
I used to love him, but now I'm kind of going off.
His first few films are really good, but
Yeah.
once he started getting to the point where he's like, I'm gonna do things about topics that are easily researchable, but not do a lick of research, and then people in the audience are like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, well, I'm going to make a film like Tenet, which has got half a script.
I actually
Or
enjoyed Tenet.
Interstellar.
I like Tenet.
You were the only
Interstellar-
one on the planet who enjoyed that culture.
I wanted
No, I'm
to
serious.
like
I've met
it
nobody
so
else who
badly.
said they liked Tenet but you.
I really wanted to like it, but I just couldn't.
I know, right? Like I'm
Tried.
watching it, and it's like it's not. I got to the part where they're talking at the restaurant, the chick and the guy, and I'm like,
Mm.
I get what's going on. I'm not like lost, but I just don't care. Like they're giving me nothing. Like there's nothing for me to latch on to with this. It is completely which sucks because I really did like Dunkirk, and I do like Inception, and I did like Insomnia.
Oh,
And
dude,
Memento or whatever is okay.
I love Inception.
Inception was so good.
But now I just like
it was, except for the fact that only a very small percentage of people can actually read in dreams, and so they didn't even address that, and the technology for how it works and whatnot and translates the alternate reality was completely unexplored, which is strange because usually Christopher Nolan front loads his first act with nothing but exposition, especially around that period of time. So there's a lot of flaws in there. However, Leonardo DiCaprio and Marion Cotillard were phenomenal as performing.
Yeah, and so was
but I like Nightmare on Elm Street,
Tom
so I didn't really
Hardy.
question a lot of that shit in Inception.
Elliot,
I mean, I get where you're coming from, but like me, I was just along for the ride. I didn't care.
Elliot Page
but-
was good in that, is all I have to say.
She was when she was Ellen.
But Tom Hardy had his first big international movie in that, appearing in that, so that was a good thing.
Was
I
it?
like Tom. Yeah, I like Tom Hardy.
What
He's
else
a
has he
good
been
lad.
good in though?
Well, after he cleaned himself up after all the drugs and gained some weight after Star Trek Nemesis, he started to become an actor again.
Yeah, it's funny when he made Nemesis, though, he really was very young. He was only about 22, 23. And most of his previous experience had been as a model, a fashion model, rather than acting. So it was 10 years too early for him, I think, to do
I
that.
can't think of anything I liked him in.
Hardy?
Yeah,
Tom Hardy?
yeah.
Mm. What, you don't like
I
Venom?
hate Bane.
Tom Hardy plays Adam Sandler playing Bane.
Yeah,
That's exactly what that was.
Yep.
that's pretty much right. I mean, he wasn't even in Mad Max. I mean, he's barely there. I mean,
He's in it. He just doesn't
Mad
do
Maxine.
much.
doesn't do much. I mean, the meme is all we got out of that. the bait meme. That's all we've gotten out of that.
Well, he's made a few good things, though. Child 44 was good. And then
Never
Gary
seen it.
Oldman. Oh, that's a great film.
I like Gary Oldman though, but
Locke was a good film. If you like sort of independent, single actor.
I can't think of anything though where he stood out to me as the highlight of the film. I mean, I guess, yeah, that's the sad part, is the best things he's been in, as far as I'm concerned, is the Venom films.
People also get him confused for Jai Courtney because they look a lot alike and don't really have much presence.
And they're useless.
I think he's way better than Jai Courtney. As soon as I see that guy, I want to reach for the
Jai Courtney's that much more useless, but yeah. No, I mean, I get it. People like Tom Hardy, but I can't think of anything. Like, I'm sitting here, like, stretching my brain.
Rock and Roller was good.
Didn't see
He was
that.
good in that. Yeah. Gerard Butler.
I've heard a lot of people talk about Bronson, but
Bronson was
that
great.
either.
Yeah.
People say Warrior. I'm trying to remember if I even watched Warrior. Was that the one that Christian Bale was the alcoholic brother in?
Warrior.
That was the fighter.
That was the fighter. Then no, I haven't seen Warrior then. What in the hell are you barking?
Nobody has seen it though. This Means War. That was his attempt at a buddy comedy.
That was with Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Anyway.
Chris Pine's perfectly fine. But I was revisiting some work because this became a conversation the other day, and I'm thinking, I liked Chris Pine. Why? Because I'm like watching stuff going, why did I think this guy was a good actor? I can't figure it out. Why did I think he was good?
He's a charming guy, but he does have, I guess, a little bit of the Lindsay Lohan stink from the Just My Luck movie. That was pretty much at the start of his career.
Yeah, and I get it, Tex. It is a me problem, clearly, because, I mean, the guy's a movie star. What can I fucking say? I mean...
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not... Yeah, I like it just... I'm just trying... I always try to reevaluate, okay, why did I like this? I'm trying to remember. Why did I...
That's kind of just came to me. I'm just like, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I really don't care for him in anything. Like, I could take or leave him. Like, you could completely replace him in anything he's been in that I've seen, and I wouldn't notice.
You mean Hardy or Pine?
Hardy. Pine, on the other hand,
Pine's
give or
got some
take,
charm.
depends on what it is.
Bottle shot.
He kind of impressed me as Kirk, right? Because he didn't do an impression. He did Kirk in a way. It was kind of...
He did it. He did his own version. Perfectly fine.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, Culture.
Oh, was I talking?
You're going to give Culture...
No, I hit the wrong... Like, I just accidentally, grabbed my mouse and it just happened to be right over top of your thing when I hit...
That's what he says, Culture, but I wouldn't...
Okay, now he's gone. Can we talk dirty about him?
Yeah.
Nikki D says, what wrong lessons do you think Hollywood will learn from the success of Top Gun Maverick? We're starting to see them trying to dig up... And a lot of it is just, it's the same shit we've seen since The Force Awakens, right?
For sure.
They're like, let's reboot. Let's do a Lego sequel. A reboot-quel, whatever you want to call it. In most cases, I'm not against that because I'd rather them do that because like it works with Cobra Kai, it worked with Ghostbusters, it worked with Maverick. Star Wars, it could have worked, right? Mm-hmm. It didn't because they didn't get the original cast back together for one thing, and they just remade the first film and then they fucked that all up.
Yeah, they only needed them back for one scene, like an Empire. Yeah. That's it, just one scene.
Well, I think the problem they might have is that they might learn the wrong lesson again. They might say, oh, well, it's successful because it was hitting the member berries rather than it was a good, well-scripted film with some fantastic practical effects that didn't lecture people. So they'll probably pick up the wrong lesson. And that Tim Miller interview where he talks about Terminator Dark Fate is a prime example of He's learned a lesson.
He apologized for it.
He's not learned the right lesson, though.
I don't think so.
His reasons for why he thinks it's not successful were not the real reasons because he can't see those.
No. Yeah. And, I mean, honestly, the biggest mistake Hollywood can make is Paramount rushing into, like, Top Gun 3, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
That would just...
they're going to do that.
I don't know. I mean, they could. It's possible, but... I feel like Brian Robbins kind of he gets it when he made the same joke I did. He's like, yeah, ask me in 30 years. Because I think they all knew that this was a one in a lifetime shot. Cause it's not like even look at Creed, okay? Rocky had 6 fucking movies, right? Coming into this, like, it's not like there's been 10 Top Gun movies to help them carry this franchise. I think rushing into another film would be, I don't know if it would work out for him very well.
I'm not even sure that, well, assuming Tom Cruise would be in it, which that's not necessarily
That's the other
a
thing
correct
too.
assumption.
Yeah.
But if he was to be, his dance card's pretty full for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
And that's just it. Can you make one without him? I mean, can you do a spin-off with the Miles Teller character or what have you? I mean, you could possibly, but
you can, and you could limit as much as, you know, Tom's in it. I mean, Tom could just be the guy that, you know, is trying to get these kids
basically do reverse Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a problem with that. If they want to go that route, that to me sounds like a better idea than trying to force Tom Cruise into rushing a Top Gun 3 out and it being extremely subpar.
I'd be surprised if
the
they tried to
problem
rush
you
a
have.
third one. I don't think it'll happen for a long time if it does hatten. And by a
Now,
long time, I
Ghostbusters,
mean
on the other
5 to
hand, made
10
more
years.
sense because they were able to make the Phoebe character and the new character stand on their own without need, because you can completely take out the original characters for the most part and they don't really matter. Like, I mean, they pay enough homage to them. You didn't need the cameos. The cameos were kind of just like extra on the cake. And in fact, if anything, you know, yeah, they do save the day. So that part's an added bonus, but we know where it's going from here, right? We know they're rebuilding the Ghostbusters, and that's kind of the way this is going. This isn't, Top Gun's not the same way. Like, there's nothing to rebuild there. The Air Force and the Navy have always been there, right? Like, so nothing's changed. It's just
it's hard to see where they would go with it as well. I mean, it's hard to see what could be done that hasn't been done in 2 movies already.
Well, the other problem you have is when the first film came out is that there's not a lot of air combat anymore, right? Like, it's not something that happens that often. We've had more pilots, I think, die in practice shit than have actually died in combat in the last 20, 30 years. I mean, I don't know the actual statistics, but I mean, I'm willing to at least probably put a couple bucks on it. But Nikki D, they always learn the wrong lessons, right? Script.
Mostly because they're looking for the easiest answer. That's the problem. They don't want to look at what made Top Gun Maverick good. Well, they took the graduates of Top Gun, and it didn't make it about trying to be the best at Top Gun. They tried to make about the best pilots from Top Gun have to do a mission to basically, delay an inevitable war between the East and West of. So yeah, and they did it with a nice little Star Wars thing. Like, you got Tom Cruise is a little bit Obi-Wan and a little bit Han Solo, and his best friend dies, and he's got his son and wants to do right by that kid in 2 regards. One, honor the parents' wishes, which is like, don't let him join the Navy and become a pilot. And the other one is like, this guy's got some talent and he's destined to fly, and he has to reconcile that. He kind of does, and has to rebuild the relationship with basically his nephew, essentially. And it's a wonderful story. It has a personal element to it that you didn't quite get in the first Top Gun, because it was more about just highlighting fun aerial maneuvers and pseudo recruitment video for the Navy, and not much else going on there. But this one actually had some depth going on. Like, you had Tom Cruise was a character in Arrested Development, just wanted to fly fast and he didn't move up in rank, and so it was lots of stuff.
So he was kind of like Johnny. Zontar wants to know script. Think Crave will continue to thrive?
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Well, they kind of have a lot of things consolidated up there anyway, don't they?
Yeah, they pick what's potentially the most popular shows on streaming services, and they negotiate to get them all in one pot.
Interesting.
I mean, sometimes they work. There's some shows you wish Crave had.
I've heard they're a bit pricey, but I mean, at the same time, it saves you the trouble of going to a dozen different places.
You also get a discount if you're, I think, with Bell, because they're the ones that fund it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, some ways, the Canadians get shit right, and then you get Trudeau. We got some semi-breaking news here.
Yeah.
It appears I was right about those reshoots at Aquaman.
Reshoots of which? Of Aquaman? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they're bringing in Ben. Because I guess why? I'll tell you why they got to bring in Ben. Because they can't have Michael Keaton.
Why can't they have Michael Keaton in it? He's too busy?
Because they haven't introduced him yet. He was in the Flash.
He can't
They haven't
swim.
reintroduced what's going on.
He can't
Because
swim.
well, that too. He can't swim.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not swimming. I'll wear the bat suit, but I ain't swimming.
Yeah, they can't introduce a character that needs to be introduced. So
Ben looks like
he's
he just
being
got
introduced.
married and laid.
He did.
You did.
I know I was being facetious.
Oh, okay. You should make that more clear to your panelists.
Well, why would I say that if he hadn't just gotten married?
I don't
Especially
know.
to J.Lo.
Is
But
he
he's still
maybe-
Benny from the
Again.
block. Don't worry.
Again to J.Lo, isn't it?
Yeah, but second
So-
time's a charm.
Is he taking over from Amber Heard then? Is that what you're saying?
No, I wish.
No.
No, clearly I think that he's being brought in because they have to shoot with him instead of Michael Keaton. And this means that they've probably either found their Aqua Lady, be it Emilia Clarke or whoever. So yeah. Why else would they be reshooting this late in the game? Makes no fucking sense to do it now because I think they technically already had reshoots for this fucker once already.
Yeah, this would be what, round 2?
I think so.
Round 2
Right.
that we know about.
Yeah.
That's also true.
That's
Yeah.
true. And this also goes in line with what I heard, and that was that Amber Heard is the least of the problems. The movie sucks. That's what I've heard from 2 different people now. Almost that exact same terminology, too. They're like, yeah, they don't matter what cut they got. The movie sucks. That's
So it was a bit,
It'd be
it was a
funny if
bit
they
in
reshot the whole film to be basically a remake of a Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon episode where Batman and Aquaman are like buddy cops solving an undersea mystery.
why is Batman underwater?
Because Aquaman's not a very good detective, and he needs someone who knows how to detect. So he
That
gets
makes
Batman.
sense.
He's good at holding.
That
his
makes
breath.
almost as much sense as Armageddon getting.
You kidding? Batman, just take the suit that Batman used to fight Superman in and put on the dome over the helmet, and you can survive the
Exactly.
pressure.
I know.
of
I'm
the
just kidding. And that would sell like 10 toys. Kareen says.
yeah, 10 would be right.
Yeah, Kareen says apparently he didn't sign a prenup. J.Lo is worth more than him. She's worth I'm not surprised. 400 million, he worth 150 million, shaking my head. She probably has it set up to where she gets paid. See, because a lot of these
He ain't going nowhere. I mean, he
Wouldn't
was
matter.
thinking-
He's in
yeah.
California, no fault state. Prenups don't mean anything.
and he is interested in a future. That's what he was looking for. That's why he kept going back to
This is
jail.
one of those few times I'm kind of not surprised, and I don't think they'll get divorced. I think this is one of those that they'll probably
Maybe
stick
they're going to
together.
make another version of A Star Is Born.
No. You're gonna
No.
get Geely part 3.
No, I don't think they'll ever act together again.
Well,
I really don't think they will.
That's a shame.
I think they learned some lessons because she's actually kind of, if she's got 400 million, she's been kind of laying low for who she is for the last few years.
Well,
I mean, she hasn't been.
It didn't hurt that she half owns a ball team. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying. She's well taken care. She's got herself well taken care of. So I ain't worried about her in that respect. And Ben, he all he's got to do is be Batman a few more times, and he'll be set for life.
you know, if he actually gets his agent to negotiate a first dollar deal,
That's what I mean. If he gets some
Yeah.
back end deals and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
You think
yeah.
that, but you forget that he has rehab bills to pay, and those are expensive.
How bad? Does he go to the
Mm.
Betty Ford clinic or somewhere more expensive
He goes for something a very private.
where he gets
exclusive.
happy endings?
well, hey
Maybe. I
now,
don't know about that.
I'm
He goes
sure
to the
they bring
Betty
in those
White
guys.
Clinic.
The Betty White clinic.
That's where you
Man.
laugh a lot more.
I miss
Yeah.
her.
Uh,
You know,
I know.
y'all joke,
I
but
know.
I know. It seems like yesterday we just lost her. So yeah, that was a bit of breaking news there. That's kind of interesting. Interesting.
Indeed.
The chat is going off about what?
going off?
No
Yeah.
J.Lo. Yeah, I don't know. Isn't she 50? If she's 50, she looks good for her fucking age.
Yeah,
She's fitting.
absolutely.
She got the ass of a 27-year-old. That's for fucking sure.
She
You
keeps it
know,
in a jar on her desk.
As fake or real as it is.
ladies and gentlemen, work out. That's today's
Yeah,
message.
She's 53? Because she got her start in Living Color when she's like 20, and that was like
Yeah.
33 years ago. So yeah, 53.
She's
seems
one
about right.
who's been fortunate that she has always looked good for her age. That's one thing she has. But let's get into some news. On the Warner Brothers front, aside from the Aquaman reshoots, we've got Alan Horn coming back to Warner Brothers in a consultant role, which is, I'm not surprised at all. When I heard this news, I didn't even see that. I figured that was what it was going to be, is he was going to be a holdover to
I think
kind of help in the process of. Yeah, I think we predicted this, didn't we? Culture.
kind of, sort of, yeah. And you know who else was in on that was Jason over at Sci-Fi for Me TV. So
Yes,
yeah, and you know, and he's like, "Hey, guess what?" And he sent it to me, and I'm like, "Oh crap, yeah, you got it before I did."
And also, DeLuca officially took the reins. I think this past week, didn't he?
Oh, that's
finally?
perfect. That is perfect.
But they've also hired a new Chief Global Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer.
Where
did they?
Warner Brothers Discovery. Azif Sadiq. And he has a white guy. He's British as well. I think he's got a wide range of things that he's going to do there with all of their business. It's across the entire Warner Brothers Discovery, Warner Media.
So Warner's a lost cause then.
Yeah, so it's sports, games, technology, revenue, corporate groups, everything. He's going to push DEI into everything, so including their employees at every level and every part of the business. So,
well, they kind of hurt themselves pretty hard by hiring a 79-year-old straight white man.
I was just thinking that, yeah. Well,
it doesn't matter if he's in a consultant thing. I think the only rule he's probably being told by Zaslav is don't do what you did to James Gunn.
You know, and you know, I guess that wasn't 100% Horn, but you know, I tell you what though, they really screwed the pooch when they got rid of Perlmutter over at Marvel. But I'm not even going to get into any of that.
Well, I mean, Perlmutter is still associated with Marvel because he has a huge interest in it. They just block him out of the actual decision-making process for their media, which is weird.
Dumb.
Because he's Rossicist.
No, he's not really.
He doesn't care about the race. He cares about making money.
Yeah. It's about money.
Well, he certainly did good work before. So, and saw a few money-making properties. So maybe he's interested in making money for Warner's. But on the other hand, they seem very interested in DEI as well at the same time. So,
well, that makes me wonder if he didn't bring that over with him. That's what makes me wonder.
Possibly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Horn likes money.
Yeah, he does, but on the other hand, he's
going to die soon too, so he's probably got all he needs.
How do you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's the same age as the president right now, I guess.
I say he's like 90.
Yeah, but he also has like the cognition of somebody like not the president right now.
That's good.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
that's
to a
debatable.
degree, right? He has made some boners in the last few years.
So have like a lot of executives. I mean, let's be honest about it. So.
Well, I mean, they're kind of lost in that whole DEI kerfuffle thing.
Yeah,
that's a problem, right?
It is. You're right.
Yep. Yeah, you're right, Neil. He did do good work at Warner Brothers 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's the problem. What is it? He's done some less good things in between. If you consider wokeness in, was it Disney that he's been involved with? Or am I getting mixed up here?
Well, he was with Disney for what, 10 years?
10 years, yeah.
And then with Warner Brothers prior to that.
Yeah.
He was around during the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin era, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He's had involvement with Lucasfilm at Disney as well, so that's I don't know. Mixed messages again. If they're going to consult with them, what are they going to consult with them on? Is it creative decisions? Is it business decisions?
Well, the third question that he answers in the Hollywood Reporter article is whether or not he's going to have involvement with DC. And he basically sets the expectation of, probably.
Well, that's kind of what we knew.
He's in a consulting capacity in the sense that they're going to ask for his opinion, he gives it, and then they do the opposite.
Well, I knew. Well, that's the thing is, this is kind of why when people ask some of the DC questions, I just kind of tell them, I'm like, look, right now Zaslav is trying to put together a team. He doesn't have anybody to control this shit. And I wasn't surprised when I heard this news because I knew he was going to probably bring him on as a consultant. He's been around the business. It's the kind of guy, that's the kind of, he might do all right in the role. I'm not so worried about that part, but I am worried about some of the problems that he might bring over from Disney.
Yeah.
That's the part that worries
That
me.
did worry me. Yes, that worries
And I mean,
me.
I'm joking about the 40 years ago, but I'm not only half joking. Like he actually worked there in 99. It looks like script. So I mean, it's been close to that. So like, and that was in the start of the era where I say, tell me one hit that Warner Brothers has had since Toby Emmerich's been president, and that was pretty close to his era, right? Like, so.
I mean, technically, The Dark Knight.
That's about
Lego
it.
Movie. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, and the Lego Movie could have been a hit anywhere, so. Yeah. On that note, Mecha J says, Alan Horn initially fired James Gunn. I wonder how Gunn must feel about it. The news, since also he's working at DC now. Well, he's only working in the capacity of his show.
And
like
well, he does voice. He does character voices on some of the DC comedy shows and whatnot as well. But no, this is something that's really. I wonder if it will change now with Zaslav, because DC, the DC aspect of things under Warner Brothers since the 90s has basically had this sort of unwritten rule where if you voice or act in any one of their properties, you will be called upon whenever they feel like needing you again in another property of DC related stuff. So you get two jobs on like a cartoon, you're coming back again. Eventually, someone's going to bring you back. They've done this with Diedrich Bader, Kevin Conroy, and Mark Hamill notoriously. The guy who played Bull in Night Court, who is also
Maul.
Is it Robert Maul or?
I think it's Martin. No, not Martin Maul. Maybe it's Martin. I don't know. It's a Maul.
It's a Maul. I know Martin Maul is on Fernwood tonight and Roseanne.
I think it's Robert.
Maybe it's Robert. Richard Maul. Sorry,
Richard Maul. Thank you.
Thank you, chat. And so forth. So they're in it for good. But if that's one of the things I'm wondering, like, is that going to change now under Zaslav, where he's like, why do we keep hiring these old actors just as like stunt casting? Because essentially it's kind of what it is, when they could be getting younger, cheaper actors to do the same thing. I wonder if that's going to change, because Phil Lamar is running out of work. I think he's betting on that.
That's kind of funny. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know if that will have too much of an effect. I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not he actually works more directly with DC, I guess.
Well, there's no doubt that DC needs somebody to steer the ship and give one single overriding vision for what it's supposed to be.
But it also needs somebody who's going to be around for a while. It doesn't need, a daytime dad. It needs somebody who's going to be there all the time.
I know, and he'd retired after 50 years, so it's unlikely, as you say, there could be a clock ticking on him. He's not going to be putting in 18-hour days, 7 days a week, You wouldn't think. And anything he comes up with will go to the Global Creative Council that they're forming for diversity, so... Yeah.
I can't even believe they're going with that. Larry has become a member. Thank you so much. Yeah, that just makes no sense to me whatsoever. Yeah. Thank you, Larry. What level did he become? I forgot to do the things over here.
Maximum effort puppy.
Maximum. Wow. Let me see here. What do we got? We got the maximum effort puppy. Thank you so much for that. We'll get back to Nikki's comment in just a minute here. Thank you so much, Larry. That maximum effort puppy is for you. Nikki D said, how much confidence do you guys have in Marvel after seeing their phase 5 and 6 slate? Think it'll be better received than phase 4? Yeah, I don't know if we could muster less confidence in that at this point.
I have none confidence.
Are you okay, Brian?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just
choking on your spit or what?
I am super excited to see how terribly they execute Fantastic Four.
And isn't that pretty early out of the gate in phase 5? Supposedly.
No, that's phase 6.
That's the first,
that's in 6. Okay, well, there you go. They've got time to muck it up completely then.
I've also heard that they are, the rumor around town that I heard this afternoon was that the Kang dynasty is going to somehow relate to the Secret War, where I think Kang is taking the place of the Beyonder in Secret Wars, which is weird because I don't know why they would do that. I hope this is just bad pitching that's going around with their development for that, because that's too much Kang. You already have like the Kang dynasty in Avengers, and you're gonna do another Kang, like he's Thanos or something. He's not Thanos.
I guess that's what they're going to try, though. So I guess we'll see how Alan plays out at Warner Brothers. I know Zaslav's going to want a more permanent person.
I can't see it being any different from phase 4. It's going to be some more weak adaptations of characters that are not very popular, and then destroying any ones that were remained popular. So,
Goddess of Wind is curious if anybody has seen or care to see the San Diego Comic-Con trailer for Interview with a Vampire. I did see bits and pieces of it with the ladies the other night on Toxic Femme, and it looks nothing like what we think of when we think of Interview with a Vampire, even though that original adaptation wasn't exactly spot on in any way.
Yeah.
But just this looks really weird. And like, what's her face, the character that Kristen Dunst played, she's like a black teenager now and not a little white girl. So yeah, I don't get that. I don't know if anybody else here has seen it.
I have no interest in seeing that.
I
I'm not the
Neither do
biggest
I.
Anne Rice fan. I think she's all right.
Yeah. Nobody else? Yeah, I'm kind of with script on that. To me, she was kind of like proto Twilight stuff. In a way. To be
Well,
honest
there are
with
other
you.
books that she wrote that were pretty good that were different from that series, but it's been done, you know. I mean, what new can it show us?
Although,
It wasn't in the
funnily enough, when the Twilight thing became a thing, I do remember citing her work quite often, being like, "Yeah, we've already had gay vampires. It was called Interview with a Vampire."
Yeah.
They're more fabulous.
Some
But
nice
here's
shots
something
of-
that
Nice shots of the Garden District in New Orleans, I imagine, though. So that'll be pretty.
Well, here's something I think we may have willed into existence, though I'm not sure if it's going to be exactly what we had hoped for. The Rocky film franchise expands with Drago spinoff.
Is that supposed to
and-
be Drago in the next to Dolph Lundgren there? The other guy?
That's his son.
There's no way that came from Drago and the other blonde chick.
Evidently, it did in this world. Didn't you see Creed 2?
Not Creed 2.
Script,
No.
are you a geneticist?
2 is actually pretty good.
You're not a geneticist.
The studio is
I've dabbled in it.
I don't disagree with you, Script. I'm not going to argue that point. The studio is I still like the movie, though. The studio is still developing Drago, a spin-off of Creed, which itself is a spin-off of Rocky, the successful boxing franchise starring Sylvester Stallone as the ultimate underdog Rocky Balboa. Robert Lawton has been hired to write a screenplay. He got the job after impressing MGM executives with his spec script, Becoming Rocky, about the making of the first Rocky film. According to The Wrap, which first reported the news of Lawton's hiring, though the studio didn't move ahead with his film idea, it appointed Lawton to build out a backstory about Russian boxer Ivan Drago, who took on Rocky in 1985's Rocky IV. His character's son, Victor Drago, appearing in 2018's Creed 2, stepping into the ring against another offspring of Rocky's rivals, Adonis Creed. I'm incredibly humbled and grateful for this opportunity. I'm approaching it as an enormous fan of the Rocky franchise who happens to be a screenwriter, Lawton said in a statement to Variety. There's been rumblings that MGM wanted to make the movie about Drago, but nothing had ever been officially announced. MGM declined to comment. I think there's some talk about doing a whole spin-off on Drago with MGM. Dolph Lundgren, who played Ivan Drago, told The Hollywood Reporter in 2021, so you may get more of that. It's unclear if Lundgren or Florin Montanou, who played Victor Drago, yeah, he's definitely not.
Holly slept with Brigitte Nelson, and
Yeah.
Holly's kid.
Paulie.
You know what? He complained about it the whole
Our
time.
Paulie, though, not Rocky's Paulie.
No, it's
we'll
really
re-
Rocky's Polly, because if we know anything about Brigitte Nelson, she's into tiny little weird guys.
That's true.
Rocky, that guy, she was so
Will
big.
reprise their roles in a spin-off of a Rocky spin-off story. Plot details are being kept under wraps. For the Drago family story hits the screens, Adonis will in company will return. No, they're not coming. No, because Sylvester Stallone's not in it. In Creed 3, which scheduled for November 23rd, 2022. We still haven't got a trailer for, by the way. Michael B. Jordan, who plays Adonis, is directing the film and his future debut. Montanu, Tessa Thompson, Felicia Rashad, and so he's coming back in this movie, but Sylvester Stallone is not. Interesting. So my interest in that just went down astronomically. I don't know about you guys, but we'll see here. Hopefully they can talk Sly into getting involved with Drago at least.
Sorry, you didn't say Michael B. Jordan was going to be in Drago. He's in Creed 3, but not Drago.
No, but the guy who plays Victor is going to be in Creed 3.
Oh, right. Sorry, yeah.
Of course, it'll probably start with the end of part 2 like they always do.
Yeah. So I wonder if this is why Sly was complaining recently about wanting to get his legacy back.
Well, that was the funny thing is, and this is going back, and the scriptist might be the only one who remembers this, if he even cares to remember, is I said that, I had because when I first heard that Sly wasn't going to be in Creed 3, I didn't know anything about this issue. I was because, at that time he was also working on Rocky 4. So I was like, he had talked about doing another film, but he was really cryptic about it. So I was like, oh, I wonder if they're doing a Drago spinoff. And Sly will be in that instead of Creed 3. And just in Creed 3, they'll have this throwaway line that Rocky's in Russia. And then it'll pick up in Creed, or in Drago. But now, if he's not in Creed 3 and we're hearing all this other stuff, I'm wondering if it had more to do with, him being upset with MGM and the producer, what's his name? Irwin Winkler.
It's just hard to see a film about Drago that doesn't have Rocky in it. Like,
well, that's what made sense to me, because the thing is, the way the movie is, not to give too much away, I mean, his son is a lot like he is, right? Like, he was programmed just like he was. So to me, it made sense that Drago would ask Rocky to help him retrain his son.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So he can deprogram him from what he was, taught to be the killing machine like his father, and into an actual boxer and into a sportsman, right? Like that makes a movie for me. But if it's just going to be him doing whatever, who gives a shit? Because nothing really changed at the end outside of Drago himself. Like Ivan, he had the big change, and his son kind of turned away from his mother, but that was about it. I mean, like, I'm spoiling a lot of the movie for Script, but not that he seems to care. But
no, I don't, because I was like a couple other people. I was pretty bothered with Creed when Apollo cheated on his wife. So
I don't like the first one as much. I'm one of those in the boat that I was not a huge fan of the first Creed. I like seeing Rocky back and all that, but I did not like the cheating aspect.
There's nothing to say that his wife couldn't have been a couple weeks pregnant when he got into the ring.
Exactly, I agree. Script
and
then not only that, they didn't even bring back the original actress, so it was like all kind of just like, why not just have that? I agree with Script. We knew he had kids. We didn't really know his kids that well, right? So like you could and it's not like Michael B. Jordan's 20. He's fucking like pushing 30 something now. I mean, he was 30,
late 30s. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He was basically almost the same age as Rocky in the first Creed film. That was my point, like in real life, but I think he was playing much younger. So like at that point, it's still within the realm of possibility, right? Because Apollo Creed could still technically have a kid that is a few years younger than me and roughly Script's age that could still be boxing, right? Like that makes sense. And him trying to, because it's kind of stupid how the movie works, because you're right, Script, I agree. It makes no sense to have him be an illegitimate son, and then the hook of the film being him trying to, get out from underneath his father's shadow. It's like, you've never been in your father's fucking shadow. Like, what the fuck is that all about? Like,
yeah. What I really want to see, I want a new series called Balboa, and it's Rocky's grandson, and he's in like the junior boxing. He's like a 16-year-old kid just boxing in high school. And
it's not a bad idea, because I mean, they have
Rocky, Rocky Jr. He's not interested in boxing at all. So
they did have a little bit, and they have a little. There's never been a real they never really resolved their relationship in the series. If you've seen Rocky Balboa, they're close, Balboa. But it's never like 100%. Like it's never been. And there's still ground there to work with. I agree with you. That's not a bad idea at all. So yeah.
Yeah, and
But there's many
Lawton-
more places you could go with this than
It'd be
So the
funny
right-
if Rocky Balboa's grandson was named Adrian, because that's also a masculine name.
That'd be cool, actually. I get that. And it actually pay homage, because I was always against them killing Adrian, but then I agreed with Sly when he said why.
Oh, so did I. Because they made
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa have way much more impact. The fact that like he spends every morning he goes to her grave, has that
Yeah.
sits, talks with her, like just
Yeah.
shows that it's like a legit love story. That
Well, and he's right, because he's like, if I had her in the movie, can't say it without doing it in his way. If I had her in the movie, all she'd be doing is the same thing she did in the last 3 movies. You can't do it, Rocky. Don't fight. Don't fight, Rocky. That's stupid.
you're too old.
You're too old. Yeah.
You see, a much better plot, though, I think, would be if Rocky had had an illegitimate son with Bridget Nielsen's character. He was then half brother to Victor, but bitter rival.
You know, I have less of a time being able to reconcile Rocky cheating on Adrian than I do Apollo cheating on his wife.
You know,
I can at least half-ass buy Apollo sleeping with other women.
well, especially with
but-
Bridget Nielsen and her character. See, that would have been perfect then.
You
For
know,
I'm stretching it a bit now.
you're stretching a bit, but
But the screenwriter Robert Lawton, he's not exactly done a great deal other than the.
what has he done?
Becoming
I know
Rocky.
his name. He sounds
He's done,
familiar.
well, he did Becoming Rocky.
Well, we haven't
is-
seen that there. They didn't pick it up.
Yeah, which is why, well, you can get it online. It is available online, I believe, to purchase. But I mean, other than that, he's got 2 credits to his name. Both are back in, one's in 2006, one's in 2012. The 2012 one was a screenplay for a film called Crave, which I vaguely remember watching. So he's not exactly got a huge track record.
But
Not
I might
saying
be
he doesn't-
thinking of some other lot, and then I think.
Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a job, but just he's not got a huge track
Actually, I
record.
think I'm thinking of the
He's
actor,
got
Tyler
only the
Lawton.
2 credits. They're that far apart. He's probably been writing a lot in between, doing little various
he
things.
must have
Maybe
been doing something.
ghostwriting or script writing,
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah, ghostwriting, rewrites, assignment stuff that doesn't get
Must have
production. That's the one of the weird things. Like IMDb doesn't hold your entire resume, and in addition to that, even the stuff like for the Writers Guild, if you just do a polish on something and it never gets released, you can't really say, "Yeah, I worked on this that didn't get
Sure.
released." It's
Right.
like, that's kind of bad for you because it's like, well, you worked on it and they couldn't get it out, they couldn't finish it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to put that on your record, so.
And I know the
Certainly.
irony of ironies, right, Tex? But as a character, I just can't see Rocky doing that to Adrian. They're too much. They're one of those
No.
couples in Hollywood history
He'd
that
never do it.
they were just one of those romances that you can't break up in the history of Hollywood. It's too important.
It would
Yo,
be-
Adrian is one of those greatest
yeah,
quotes of all time in a
It
movie.
would
You know
be
what I
a
mean?
bitter betrayal of the fans if something like that
Exactly,
had ever
yeah.
been scripted.
Well, and I agree with the script too, in that it is almost kind of a betrayal of the fans in to have Apollo do that too. I mean, I agree with that. I did not like that. Is my one big point of contention with the first Creed film, and that's why I enjoy Creed 2 more, because we're past all that now. Creed 2 actually feels like a sequel to the other films, whereas Creed 1 just feels kind of like a vanity project for Michael B. Jordan more than anything.
And Ryan Coogler, like, I just need
And
to-
Ryan Coogler, exactly. But the second film actually feels like a true sequel to the Rocky franchise. It gets back into Drago. It gets into the whole idea that this guy killed my dad. This is his son. It actually has some weight to it. I mean, and I like that they delved back into that, and it almost felt like a classic Rocky film. It had that tone to it, and just that Creed was missing. But Creed was real, and a lot of people I got not in arguments, but like people like, oh, I love Creed. I'm like, yeah, me too. When it was called Rocky, it's the same fucking movie. No, it's not. Yes, it is. The only difference is he's rich instead of being poor. He's got a girlfriend who's got a problem, and he wants to be a champ, and he gets a shot at the title. Tell me how this is any different than Rocky. He gets an old guy to train him. I can keep going. You know, it's the same fucking movie. Only he gets to win.
It's a combination of Rocky 1 and 2.
Pretty much. I mean, Rocky, his winning is in just the emotional win and you know, all that kind of stuff. It's not the fact that he won won anything from Apollo Creed.
He won
right?
the Hearts of Philadelphia because
Exactly.
he pulled himself out of his own gutter, and didn't
Yeah,
matter
and
if
that
he
also-
won in the ring, he won in life.
I look at it that not so much, yeah, exactly, the winning in life part, because it gave him the confidence to actually take Adrian out after he got, all this going and all this other stuff in there. Their relationship blossomed, and his relationship with Mickey blossomed, right? And all that kind of stuff. And he made a new friend in Apollo Creed at the end of it all. So there's a lot more that goes into that than him just winning a title of any kind or winning a fight. We got Action Com in the house. How you doing, buddy? It says, with the success of Top Gun Maverick, do you think we will get a Nicolas Cage Firebird sequel? Nicolas fucking Cage! Because that's a bad... Actually, that would be a Nicolas Cage decision. He would probably come up with something like that. Look, I know Thomas did this movie. I did a movie called Firebirds. I think we should do a sequel. No.
Con Air 2, double sentence.
Con Air 2.
No, thank you.
It's funny because everybody was making fun of Aaron Rodgers showing up to practice dressed as Nicolas Cage from Con Air. He did. He looked just like him. It's hilarious. I did finally see the unbearable weight of Massive Talent. Did anybody else here see that?
Yeah, that was a fun film.
Fucking hilarious.
I have a copy, but I haven't seen it yet.
That's why I did the Nicolas fucking Cage thing.
I think we need
Nick Cage plays Nick Cage with a K.
They should have cast John Malkovich in that.
I didn't even notice that, if that's true.
Perfect meta film.
Yeah, because Nicolas Cage has probably said, I was playing not Nick Cage, I was playing Nick Cage.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they even talk about his films and,
Yeah.
I guess I never saw his name written down where I noticed the K instead of the other way around, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I just took it like, it being John Malkovich kind of thing.
I think we need Leaving Las Vegas Resurrection. That would be the movie we need.
Don't give him ideas.
No, give him ideas. He'll make it very entertaining.
I know he died in it. That's why we call
well,
it
the only reason I say that is because it's based on a true story. I mean, and actually, I don't think he died in the movie. The actual person died like 2 months after the movie came out or some shit like that is what it was.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, Rough Girl, I don't know. She's like that. Yeah, that's one of his more tougher films. That's one that's a hard watch.
Well, it's a very hard watch.
How about Raising Arizona 2?
That I can get behind.
That I could get behind.
Is he the grandkid or some shit? Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Yeah, he's killing grandkids. It's him and his grandson.
Nathan Jr.
Grandkids.
No, better yet, Nathan Jr. gets himself in trouble. And of course, the only person who knows how to get him out is his other dad.
His other dad and his wife, who's a former cop.
Yeah. Of course, they're divorced now, and she's back to being a cop. The movie has to start that way, just because. Not for any good reason, but just because.
No, they're divorced. She's back to being a cop, and the only way he gets to see her is when he keeps getting arrested.
And better yet, she's married to John Goodman, who's reformed.
None of that sounds good.
This could work. This could work.
And Forsyth, he's still alive, isn't he, or did he pass?
William Forsythe?
Yeah, the guy who was that was the guy who played his partner in it, wasn't it?
I think we lost him. I'll have to look it up.
I think he's gone though, sadly. But is that who it was who played his buddy in that? I think it was. I think so. I'm pretty sure that was one of his bigger roles. Somebody will correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but it'll be hilarious. I think we should write it. Can we get the Coen brothers on the line?
He didn't die. No, William Forsythe's still around.
Is he good? Okay, good. And that was him, right? In that he was the partner, right?
Oh, he was.
Okay, good. I was right. That's what I thought.
I don't recall him dying.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he was still with us or not. I just couldn't remember. For some reason, I had this recollection, probably a Mandela effect thing.
I think he's only in his 60s or so.
But I could have. I swore I heard something about a heart attack, but maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
He could have had that. Yeah.
Mandela effect.
He was
or
in The
something.
Man with the High Castle. That's the last thing I recall seeing him in. As G.
That's
Edgar
not that
Hoover.
old, is it?
That was only 3 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Cool.
He's
Cool.
still working. Yeah, still working.
Awesome. Yeah. For some reason, I don't know why I thought he was gone. Maybe I misheard. Because he pops up in Red Letter Media movies all the time. maybe they said something and I misheard it.
He dies tomorrow, Tom. There's going to be something.
It's my
very
fault. It
suspicious
is my
about
fault.
that.
Well,
You've
you
hexed
know,
him.
he's not Tony Dow, so there's nothing I can do
Who
about
actually
that.
did die.
Did finally pass away, yes. Not that it wasn't obvious that it was going to happen, but it was kind of fucked up. What is with this lately? Because that's like the third time that's happened now. Because didn't it happen to Tawny, what's her face, and somebody else? They're like, oh, they're dead. No, they're not dead. And then they die like 3 days later. But I mean, it's just because they jumped the gun on this shit a little bit.
News of my demise has been greatly exaggerated.
I know, and I put
3
that
days
up
later,
there.
I have passed away.
Yeah, finally I died. Unless you're Chadwick Boseman, who's still alive promoting Black Panther 2.
Oh, dude, that is
Twitter.
just, I can't believe.
Tanya Roberts, that's who it was. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Tiny kitten.
I was so disgusted by that. I still am with what Disney's doing with that.
I was just thinking, has Nicolas Cage ever done a sequel besides the National Treasure films?
I can't think of.
I don't think he has.
He was signed for 3 films, but they couldn't get the third one off the ground.
Yeah, well, they're doing the series now, and I think is he a part of that or not? I didn't watch the trailer.
As far as I know, he's not a part of
did,
that.
I didn't think so.
Not on it.
Ghost Rider, he did 2, right?
He did 2 Ghost
Oh, that's right, 2 Ghost Riders. Yeah, duh. Because I was trying to
Yeah.
think, I'm like, has he ever done a sequel, really?
2 Ghost Riders, yeah.
Which is funny, considering all the movies he's done. You'd think he'd just ride something at some point.
He would accidentally have done more than 2 sequels to 2 franchises.
Exactly, like just like ride at some point. Just be like, this is all I got. I gotta ride this out.
Well, I liked both the Ghost Riders. I thought they were good.
Yeah. People always think I have a bad take on that, and I'm like, no, I like those films, man.
Yeah, the second one is Terminator 2 all over again, but whatever. It was all right. The first one wasn't great, but it was all right. Like, that's what they are. They're all right. You know, like, I wouldn't recommend them to nobody necessarily, but
Good call.
yeah. Yeah, as I said, National Treasure, you got a sequel, of course. Yeah. Gone in 60 Seconds. That might be one that you could do.
61 seconds.
That's not a bad idea, though.
It's actually pretty
There is an
good,
8mm too, but he is not in it. That would be awesome. That would be fucking sweet. A Con Air 2, that would be sweet.
I just mentioned that like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Con Air
you
2,
did.
second sentence.
Yeah, you did.
That would be good.
Well, that one I
I
didn't
could see
argue.
I could see the Coens doing a Raising Arizona follow-up, but they should.
Oh
They
fuck,
should think about
they
that.
shouldn't, but they
No,
wouldn't.
they should.
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because
Hey,
they
you
didn't
guys
even
know
like
that-
that Jesus
Okay.
sequel to the Big Lebowski.
You know, talking of dead actors, you know, the British comedian Spike Milligan, who
Sounds
died
somewhat familiar.
many years ago, but he was in the Goodens and was Monty Python.
Oh, okay, all right.
So he's got the funniest gravestone in history, and it says on it, Spike Milligan, I told you I was sick.
Yep.
Oh, I remember that. That reminds me, they just said somebody, I seen a picture the other day. I'm sure somebody figured it out before, but somebody had put whatever they had put on their grave spelled out, fuck you. It was like father,
Uncle, child.
Yeah.
And kindred spirit.
Yes.
I'd love to have a funny gravestone like that.
I'm like, I'm going to do that.
You'd never get to enjoy your own joke, but you know.
Mine might say move 1 step to the left, please.
I'm going to pay somebody to show up at my funeral dressed as Death and just sit in the back.
And tell them to keep looking at their watch. Like they're in a hurry.
Yes.
Could you move it along? I'm in a hurry.
And I want
laughing.
and I want abnormally happy music as well.
Oh god, yeah, you've got to have happy music. Yeah. Like happy
Abnormally
talk,
happy music.
Happy,
Free falling playing in the background.
Like the Banana Splits theme song and shit.
Born to be
Tra-la-la, tra-
La, 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 Born to be Alive. Songs like that.
La 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 la
La,
la.
la, la,
All
la,
that
two
shit.
Banana, 3 banana, 4.
Sugar, sugar.
Am I the only person that remembers
For our
watching the
next
Banana
selection,
Splits? Am I only one
the
that
Barbie
remembers
song.
it?
I'm a Barbie girl.
You better start planning that now, just in case.
I know. Nobody will do that for me. We got Fat Steven in the house. He owes me $500. Says, I'm nominate Tom for lead in Powder 2. I hope they never make Powder 2, man. That first one wasn't that great, and that director's a freakazoid. That's being nice.
You got to look at Sander Hammerslag's last
What do you say?
post. It was dressed as death and taking
Talking.
names. Going around and
Yeah, I'm just
talking to
writing
people.
down names.
What's your name? What's your name?
See you soon. That was always one of my favorite lines of Bill and Ted when the guy is smoking in the hardware store. He's like, see you real soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's it. Why, especially if you've led a long life, why not try and go out with some humor? You must have seen Graham Chapman's funeral with the Monty Python guys. They all get up and do a speech. So John Cleese, you've got to watch on YouTube. It's this guy.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of it in the documentary.
We hated him. He was terrible. He absolutely roasts him, the poor guy. It's very funny because they're all expecting this, tribute.
Honestly, at that point, it's like, if you're going to say some shit about me, yeah, say it at my funeral. Tell me, say all the nice shit now to my face. I don't want people to be talking nice after the fact.
But obviously he was joking, but it was funny nonetheless.
No, I get it. But no, I totally get it, right? Like, it's, if you're going to roast me at my fucking funeral, right?
That's
like,
a great place to roast you.
Yeah. Dira says, segue because of Stallone. Hey. See the Samaritan trailer for Amazon. I have not, but I've heard it is out. I think it's his Unbreakable. P.S. How you guys doing? Oh, we're doing good. Thank you for asking.
It took 6 years for the Samaritan to be made.
Was that one that he's been working on for a while? Is that like a personal thing for him, or what was it?
This is it was a spec script, and just kind of circulated around, and then I guess it fell into his lap. He liked it and helped to get it produced. But yeah, it was written in 2016.
Yeah, well, I've seen the trailer. I'm sure you guys have too, and it looked very promising to me.
No, I haven't yet, actually.
It looks promising.
Oh, cool.
I know the twist, and it's a good one.
Oh.
Yeah, you were saying that, and I don't want to know.
Yeah, don't tell us.
That means he's read the script. Nicky D says, think Thor.
Perhaps he worked on it.
No.
Anyway, it does look very, very good, very enjoyable. It's pure Stallone as well. His character's very.
I've always liked Stallone. Yeah. Even in some of his worst shit, he's decent.
Stallone. He's very
Stallone.
Stony Baloney.
Nicky D says, think Thor 4 will turn a profit at the box office. Culture. What do you think?
No.
It'll turn something.
Okay, so it costs $250 million. I mean, just quick math. $250 million. It's you got to multiply that times 2.8, and that's what they need to make.
Yeah. Well, what is it right now? It's not reached 600 million yet, has it?
Really? Not even yet? Because it was like at 598 at the weekend.
Yeah, actually, we were looking at the numbers, and I
touched it now.
Did it really?
Wow.
Yeah, 607.
Yeah, see,
2.7. Yeah, just made it
over there. Think about that. It took 4 days of the week to creep.
How did the Pets movie do last night?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look it up.
Yeah. Basically, Thor's gonna be lucky if it hits the Batman numbers during its run.
Ouch! I don't think it's even gonna hit that now. Because it's pretty much done. Like, it's hitting less than 1 million a day pretty much at this point now.
They're actually trying
during
to
the week
spin it that its drop off in the last week or two was less than the drop off for Doctor Strange. That's the positive spin.
What, in its 8th week?
Yeah, exactly. That's the spin.
Well, really, it's
not
4th
quite
week,
as
but
bad
still.
as that.
Well, it's 20 days, so in another 25 days, it'll be on streaming.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
I think we've figured out the actual day too, if I'm not mistaken.
22nd,
Culture
right?
and I did.
Yeah,
22nd, I think it was. We figured, and I think I heard something like that. I heard the 24th. I think is what I heard, which would make sense. Doc Nation, it's hard to argue this now. I would love to see somebody, even fucking what's his ass from Collider, John Campea, try and call us morons right now. It's like, motherfucker, you tell me, try and tell me and spin me in some way that this fucking movie made money. Please try and enlighten me how that happened. Especially when the theaters are not giving them the amount of money they used to get. That's another thing that most people don't know right now, right, Culture?
Yeah. Yeah, the negotiated rental prices. You know who did a really good video on this recently was Valiant Renegade.
That's
VR
true.
did a great video.
Yes, he did. He's good at that.
Yeah.
He's not good at showing up no more, though.
He's busy.
He's going to become the new culture if he keeps it up. You should be happy.
There can be only one. There can be only one.
This is true.
VR's working hard.
Your culture dish casino. There's only one. You started in a dish in a laboratory.
That might be true.
Night of Snoke is in the house, and he has not a question for us, but I guess I don't know what it would be then, but I'm going to read it anyway because he asked me to.
Not a question.
To me, but more so to the panel. But important to note that with the common theme of being tired of superhero movies, are you referring to DC and Marvel stuff? Or any movie with a hero with superpowers? Because people like Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter, and Frodo, they count them as superheroes just without costumes. And even in DC and Marvel, you have non-costume superheroes like Wanda, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and most of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Me personally, when I say this stuff, I'm tired of how shitty Marvel and DC have been. DC has never been good in the last, not since Dark Knight Rises, or the second one, Rises.
Dark Knight. 2009.
Yeah, 2009. So it's been that many years.
13 years.
And Marvel was great up until Endgame. After that, I'm stretching to try and remember a really good movie besides No Way Home.
Yeah,
No Way Home. Really good.
Yeah, No Way Home, the Sony film was great.
Yeah, the difference, I mean, it's a weird type of difference. The decline in the superhero films is coming through the quality, and a little bit with the quantity.
Yes.
It's very different with regards to the Western genre, which the Westerns were being made all the way up until the late 70s, and they were still good. They just weren't popular. And there's no
a lot of them moved to television, too.
Well, they got very limited theatrical releases, and then they didn't get their windows in television until a couple of years later. But yeah, there's a number of Westerns in the mid to late 70s that debuted. Nobody wanted to see for whatever reason. The culture just wasn't into it. But I mean, if you go back and look at all the Western films and spaghetti Westerns that came out in the 70s, you'll find a number of them are still quite good story, good acting. But they just did not track well in the entertainment sphere with customers in the 70s. That was when Jaws, Close Encounters, Star Wars, Apocalypse Now, those films kind of dominated and made people think that the Western genre was unprofitable or bad or became terrible, but it actually just kind of fell a little bit out of favor. And it's still kind of an ancillary genre. I think it should be rising up again soon, but it's hard to tell at this point because.
Well, it's still always been in the background, and that's where I said it kind of moved to television instead of getting so many more theatrical. You got tons of shows that were Western-based throughout the years.
Frontier shows, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like it ever went away per se. I mean, it's just,
I don't know if you feel though, Script, that with the spaghetti westerns and there ended up being hundreds of them coming out of Europe.
Well, the spaghetti western kind of revived the western for a short period there.
But then, of course, like anything else, they start to flood the market with them.
But see, the thing is with the spaghetti western, it was kind of more of the deconstruction of the western, right? And in a lot of ways, some of those movies are. So you have the better ones, like of course the Man with No Name trilogy and so on, and a lot of stuff Eastwood did, and the Django and a few other ones that were really well regarded. But then you get into some of the stuff that is just schlocky, exploitation-y kind of stuff to a point.
Yeah, they pick, some B-movie actor from America and put him in an Italian production.
And
and they churned out a lot of those. So the market was saturated. It almost feels to me a little bit like Marvel. And
that's what I was getting to, is it's gotten to this point where, you've kind of gotten on the other side of that, right? Like, you've gotten through the thrill of seeing something different in this genre that we've seen, but then by the time, Clint Eastwood's making shit like Pale Rider and stuff like that over here, that's a whole nother new era of like, that's where you rarely get a Western then at that point.
I think it's fatigue. There is a lot of fatigue. I mean,
I don't know if it is
there's
fatigue,
no such thing as fatigue. There's only fatigue against crappy films.
I agree with Script in that respect.
And you didn't let me finish, so you didn't let me finish my sentence, which was there's fatigue, but there wouldn't be fatigue if we were seeing the characters treated the way we want them to be treated. And people were getting actual superheroes, not deconstructed or lessened or diminished superheroes. We want Superman to be Superman. You know,
Yeah.
we want Thor to be Thor. We don't want them to be something else, which is all we're getting right now.
Superman is just super gay now. Just relax, man. It's good.
Yeah, well, that's true. As long as he acted like Superman, he can be as gay as he wants. But if he's heroic,
I'm super.
Thanks for asking.
Shit.
Anyway,
but that's the best I can say. Night of Snow. I agree. It's more of a saturation thing, and I had a thing I put up on Twitter like 2 weeks ago, where it shows how much more stuff we've actually gotten in Phase 4 compared to the rest of the phases. It's literally the same amount. I mean, almost the same amount of entertainment as the first 3 phases as you got in Phase 4, but the quality of it sucks. Yeah. Right? That's where and I agree with the assessment that Andre had with, comparing Love and Thunder to Batman and Robin. And I went even farther in saying that, again, to reiterate that we're at that same era like we were in that mid to late 90s where comic book movies were becoming crap again. Like they just didn't seem to get what made them popular in the first place. Yeah. 5-6 years removed from 89 Batman, basically, where you're getting Steel and stuff like that out there, like, and Spawn and shit that's just like.
Yeah, but we also got like the Phantom, which was actually pretty.
You get a few, and we get a few highlights.
Didn't track well theatrically. People just didn't know what it was. It wasn't marketed well. Mm-hmm. Same with the Shadow, but the Shadow had production issues as well.
I did like.
And you also got the Crow in that era too. But see, those are all what I would consider. I mean, they're not that they're not mainstream. They are mainstream, but I wouldn't consider them on the same level as Marvel and DC, right? Like, not everybody knew who the fuck the Crow was before the movie.
Darkman
or Dark. Well, Darkman's not even a comic book, but yeah, it's the same kind of thing. But I mean, that's the thing is
concept.
Same kind of concept, but I mean, notice like television, we're getting a lot of superhero stuff still. I don't think it's going to go anywhere necessarily anytime soon per se, but I think they're going to have to start figuring out how to do these movies on less of a budget. They're not going to be able to sustain themselves at this rate.
250 million is ridiculous when you can see what can be made in India for 1, 2, 3 million.
Korea. The only solution is to make sure they're damn good then otherwise, because at this point you can't be spending that kind of money.
The films coming out of India are vastly superior.
Yeah. And Korea too. There's some great stuff. Yeah. Sure. That's where I get a lot of my entertainment.
See, in superhero movies used to fall into the sci-fi genre pretty much, but now they become kind of a genre onto themselves. Like that's really the only difference. It's not like we haven't had superhero stuff since way back when. I mean, you go back, we've always had the serials and cartoons in the Batman show, for instance, the Superman series and other shows.
Superman show, Wonder
Shazam, Wonder Woman, Hulk. I mean, it's always been around. So it's similar.
Spider-Man had a TV series
for a while.
Yeah, and back to the 1940s movie serials, as you were saying.
Well, that's what I meant, all the way back to the beginning, yeah.
Buck Rogers and
Captain America, I think, had one too.
Yeah.
I've got the old Shazam serials. Well, yeah, you can even consider Zorro, true. You
can consider Zorro a part of that too.
Out of the night when the full moon is bright.
Well, really, when you look at the action genre, the Western genre, the superhero genre, they all have very similar tropes. I mean, they're pretty much the same kind of stories, really. It's just the different kind of setting and the type of tools or powers, let's say, that the character has at their disposal.
Yeah, right? Abilities. There's abilities, whether they happen to be supernatural or
the Force,
or the Force, or you're great with weapons or kung fu,
or you're the son of Krypton, whatever it is,
or your mind or whatever.
Yeah.
But everyone loves that. That's the basic tropes we love if it's done well. Bad guy, good guy saves girl, defeats bad guy, etc. If it's done properly, we love it. We'll always love it. If it's done badly, you go,
Tex, you're really, really, really tempting fate here. What's sad is because he looks wise, Ezra, if you gave him the stringy hair, he actually looks like what the Crow looked like in the original comics, but no. No.
Please no.
I think he's more likely to make a remake of like Prisoner in Cell Block 9 or something.
Ooh. But I think we're going
to from Alcatraz.
What are you going to say, Culture?
Oh no, all I was going to say is he would be perfect in like a what was that cowboy movie? Brokeback Mountain. He'd be great.
Oh,
in the reboot of that.
Ooh.
Jake
Whatever.
Gyllenhaal and Ezra Miller.
That's right. So
Would that be just recasting him as the role that Heath Ledger played, or is it a new character?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, new character, but replacing Heath Ledger.
Okay, see.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to depart, Tom, my friend.
Well, I was just going to say, actually, I think we're going to wrap this up. So,
sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say
Sorry,
that.
don't
Anyway.
stop.
No, that's fine. I was just letting Culture get out his thought.
That was not a great thought. So
I tend to let him do that from time to time, and then he fucks up and says something stupid like that, and then I don't let him do it for a while.
that's true. All those true things.
Those are all true things. Whether or not I actually enlist them, we'll see. But I want to thank Script. I want to thank Culture. I want to thank the 70s rock fan. I was just going to say Brian, but most people know he's a 70s rock fan. And of course, even though he hasn't been on the show today, I want to thank Mikey for setting things up today and helping me out in the background. Six and the other mods I seen in the chat. Thank you so much for your help. Please hit the like button. Do any of you guys got anything you want to plug real quick on your way out the door? 70s, you got anything coming up?
Nothing too imminent. I'm just working on a David Warner tribute video, so that'll be my next upload in the next couple of days. It's gonna be quite nice, I think. Yeah, he's one of my favorites, so I was quite saddened. So
I had
hopefully
to
I'll
share
do him justice.
I had an image that I've been saving for a while for whenever we do a Nightmare on Elm Street retrospective of David Warner's makeup for Freddy Krueger when he was very close to playing the part. I don't know if you guys know that he got extremely close to playing the part.
I did not know that, and that would be very interesting to see. I've never seen that.
It's actually on my Twitter. Go ahead and check it out. It's
check it out.
Yeah. I can't remember where they used his. They had taken a cast of him for something else. I can't remember what it was. And then the makeup guy started doing the makeup on him, and they they had an idea of what it looked like. But it's his. Yeah, it would have been his version of what Freddy. That's originally who Wes Craven wanted to play, David Warner.
But
they couldn't work out a deal.
Well, and once they'd seen England.
Well, that was where things changed too, because like Wes was constantly going towards older actors.
Yeah.
And because he kept picturing him as older, 50s, 60s kind of thing. And then he realized once he's seen Robert, because he's like, yeah, this guy's a lot younger than what we're going for, but he's got the energy, right?
Right.
And that's the thing. He's going to be under makeup anyway, so it doesn't matter. So he's like, this is what I need. Yeah.
Series, you would need the younger guy anyway.
Well, he didn't even look at it from that perspective, just the energy of being under the makeup. And he was one of the few guys that Craven said actually committed to it. Right. Like because he goes, the problem was the older the guys were that I would interview or try out for the part, the more sweeter they were. So you had a harder time. He's like, David Warner was one of the only guys I could see playing that psychotic kind of thing. Because at that point, he had just done the Time After Time and stuff like that, where he played Jack the Ripper and stuff like that. So he's like, he was the only guy I could see kind of in that age range being able to do it and do it justice, but they just couldn't work out a deal. But when he saw Robert came in and just blew him away because he completely committed to the role and he just dove right into it.
If you got David Warner around the time he made Straw Dogs, you could have done him. He could have been Freddy then.
Oh, I think he would have been great as Freddy. He just would have been a nastier Freddy.
Yeah.
I think he wouldn't have had as much fun as Robert did.
No, it needed a bit more.
He'd have been a darker Freddy, I think.
He would have taken it very seriously.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was a fantastic actor and one of my favorites.
His Hamlet performance is legendary. Unfortunately, it's never been recorded, so I don't
the youngest RSC Hamlet ever. Yeah. And he did it for
He's even great in Secret of the Ooze.
He's one of these guys that classed up everything he was in, even if it stank, even if the movie.
He was the first person to voice Ra's al Ghul on Batman.
That's true.
That's right. Yeah, it's tons of genre chops. You know, so anyway, that's my next project.
Cool. Script. You got anything coming up? I can't imagine so, but you never know.
I'm gonna go to bed. I'm tired.
Yeah, you sound like it. Get some rest, my friend. And Culture. Anything you got coming up to plug besides your 6-minute daily?
Well, I kind of had a forced vacation on videos this week because Grant's been out sick, but I will be bouncing back on those next week. We've also got, of course, over on Comics Division's channel, Thursday Night Throwdown, which is a little bit more funnier version of less
I sometimes hop into that if there's something worth talking about.
Yeah,
or I'm not sleeping. Action Com, no. Why would I give up on Secret of the Ooze?
Secret of the Ooze.
It's not the first movie, true, but it's not bad.
It's okay.
All
That's
right.
fun. Yeah.
It's a 7 out of 10.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got vanilla ice in it.
I
That's actually
see.
good. It's fun. Yeah.
Go ninja,
He's
go
good in it.
ninja, go.
Man, we tried to watch that thinking we got busted. Matt does that all the time though. He like you know.
Like plays music videos and stuff.
Yeah, and then we get in trouble.
Like this one.